without civil engineering, you wouldn't have had that rebuilt.
We're here in sunny Bristol.
So we're at Cowley Bridge.
We're in Slapton.
Got the main line to Devon and Cornwall behind me.
I'm John Munslow.
I'm one of the judges.
I'm channeling my inner Darcy Bussell.
This has been a really emotional job.
It's hard. It's hard work.
Yeah, it was challenging.
Very challenging.
It's anti-social hours, it's intense.
A lot of sleepless nights.
I had my head in my hands.
This location was basically totally underwater.
One of the biggest issues was the traffic.
We're judging the ICE awards.
I think you have a point.
I think you need a female.
Terrible.
You need to look at the project.
I am definitely hoping that the weather forecast is wrong. Well, we are at Hinkley Point, looking at one of the most amazing, deep, large excavations I have seen in my life. It is incredible by any standard.
We had to excavate 250,000 cubic metres of rock and earth. We put in 18.8 kilometres of ground nails to support the slopes, 15,500 square metres of spray concrete.
I try to get across to my young daughters because when you try to explain 25,000 cubic metres, they just look at you.
I feel quite excited today because it's great to get to talk about what we've done here. I'm really, really proud to be part of this project. I think what we've actually achieved here and across the deep dig and all the work that Kia BAM's done here is just phenomenal, to be honest.
We're here at Bromley Heath Viaduct. As you can see, one of Bristol's busiest roads. What we've done here is we've improved this piece of infrastructure. We've widened the existing footway. The judges are here scrutinising our every move, our every decision we made on this project.
I feel really proud to be stood here with all the judges here, just coming to see what we've done. We've taken an old structure and we've future-proofed it. It's the future that matters to me.
I mean, everyone delivers fantastic engineering schemes. We're just really proud of what we've done here on this project for electrifying the Great Western Railway. I've been driving around in a car with my daughter and she's been pointing at areas where wires are going up. Why is there no wire there? Why is there a wire there? And it's amazing when actually my family are saying, God, you've got to Swindon or you've got to Wootton Bassett. It's a real personal satisfaction there.
It's not just about electrification. Electrification is probably about 25% of the works. Route clearance, bridge clearances, parapet works, that's about 25% of the works as well. In distribution, we've built 31 distribution sites, 3 national grid supply point connections, and it's taken a number of years and a lot of people's effort to get us here. And I think the recognition of that is what we would really appreciate.
So this project's been with me for being Arup and Hitachi for about 7 or 8 years now. So we saw this project start from a very different vision to what you see today. It's on the network in a great location for a depot, but the site doesn't really suit itself to being a depot. It's tight, it's got difficult access, it's got neighbours, it's up high on a plateau, it needs lighting at night. So you've got all those things you've got to try and contend with and produce something that is going to fit the bill for the client. I think the achievement level is what makes it worth doing. You feel a sense of achievement.
I don't think people really understand what engineering is sufficiently well. There's so many different facets of it and it's so central to all our lives. Everything we do in our working and our working days requires somebody to have engineered it.
My name's Rob Buckby. I'm the designated project engineer for the Filton Bank 4-track project. What that really entails is on the person who brings all those different engineering systems together into one place at one time, ultimately to bring these 2 new tracks into use.
On this project, it's been extremely challenging to basically construct this project with 2 live railway lines right next to us.
This project has been important for so many people, not just the Bristol public, but whoever's been working on it. I myself, I went almost through a grieving experience after the completion of the project in November last year. You've put so much effort into it, so many hours into it. You're almost going through the trenches together when you're trying to build this thing and make it come together at one stage.
Sometimes civil engineers are the forgotten people. The architect comes up with a design concept and the civil engineers have to work together with the architects to deliver a building that stands, and sometimes they don't get the recognition that they deserve.
This is amazingly creative. Do you think you can only do this because it's a cultural project?
It certainly helps when you know the public are going to come in and see your work, that shared ambition to create something which will be on show.
And what's your favourite bit? If you were going to bring your mum here and say, look at this.
The special moments are sitting here in the evening and watching the light change inside. The backlit wall of the theatre is just magical.
The average person may not see this coming in and appreciate what work has went into just exposing an old wall. It sounds simple. The work involved in getting this wall to its place now involved a lot of detailed design development, incorporating the new elements into the wall and exposing the old elements like the doorways, like the windows, to tell the story.
My name's Mike Day. I was the project manager for this Being Brunel project here in Bristol, on the site of the SS Great Britain. The aim of the project is to give an insight into who Isambard Kingdom Brunel was, his character, and not only about his projects but who he was as a person. It's a small but beautifully formed project. It ties in beautifully with the local, the architecture and the dockyard setting, and it really brings to life Brunel, who was such a great engineer in this country.
It is an incredible establishment, holding his papers, drawings, paintings, apparently with this great big obelisk behind me, which is a facility to go inside his mind. Not quite sure if I'm a fan of it, but the rest of this establishment has incredible artifacts, many of them touched by him, so it's quite touching.
I think it'll be very difficult to single out a project. It will have to reach a very high standard, and it will be a special project that gets my vote.
We have just walked over the most amazing medieval bridge. Honestly, the form, the stone, the setting is almost magical.
I've been building bridges now for over 17 years, and this is it's been fantastic that I've had the opportunity to build this. When it collapsed into the river, I asked Dave, my boss, if I could be involved in building it. And obviously I've enjoyed every minute of it. We've achieved something here that's going to be here for a long time.
I can tell you it's been a complex project, but better than that, there's a lot of love and kind of enjoyment that has gone into rebuilding the bridge, and I think that means more to the local people than anything else.
It looks as though the community has got together to get the stone from the right quarry. I mean, I'm actually surprised at the relatively low cost of restoring this bridge, and that must be because people are restoring it with love rather than wanting to make money out of it.
Yeah, what the man from council said is that the people were not fighting over tenders and going for the highest cost. They were desperate to do the job and supply the stone.
So we're at Cowley Bridge, which is located at the junction of the railway line from Taunton and London to Exeter and the line from Barnstaple. So it's an area that's been prone to significant flooding for a long time, ever since the railway was built. Now what's really impressive about this scheme is the way in which the logistics of this have to come together to deliver the project absolutely on time. The railway has to be closed, the track and the signalling systems removed, and then the culvert installed, and then everything put back in to allow the railway to run absolutely when we say the railway's going to open. Timing and logistics is crucial, and that's the success of Cowley Bridge, the fact that this project was delivered absolutely bang on time, just when they said it was going to be done.
I think this project is special because of the challenging location. It might look like it's under a main line, and it is, but the fact we're in a river channel here made this a really difficult project to build.
Large operation with large excavator, 80-ton machine lifting these large 16-ton sections. The sheet piles were installed in advance of the blockade to de-risk the programme, and trying to pull all that together in 72 hours is a phenomenal achievement for everybody.
The wall along here kind of went up and down, but it leaked like a sieve. So what you had was a wall that was, to be honest with you, it wasn't much higher than it is there, but as you get further down, it dropped down. So we've put in a consistent defence.
We've future-proofed this to allow the walls to be raised. So rather than actually having to demolish and rebuild, the designers allowed us just to raise what we have here.
One of the biggest issues was the traffic, because obviously to build this wall through here, we had a piling rig and we had a pre-augering rig, so we had to work on that side of the road, but obviously we couldn't have traffic coming through here when we're pitching sheet piles and everything else.
They wound me up. No, we worked quite well together, I think.
That's the thing with John, and he's trying to get past, and that's the thing, is when they never had a pavement, they had nothing to sit on or nothing to stand on.
He's done a grand job. He might hit me, mightn't he?
I think one of the reasons it's so important that this stuff is that people are passionate about this is because you're dealing with people's lives and people's emotions. Like, you're having a direct impact on like the people here and what their daily experience of life is, and that's a very emotive subject, and I think you need to have that passion, otherwise you don't pick up on the sensitivities of and those small things which make such a difference to John, who sits in his living room and thinks, is this wall going to be too high, or and sometimes it's the detail that really makes a difference to those people. I think you've got to be passionate, otherwise you don't invest emotionally yourself in finding out those things.
We're here today at the Totnes Flood Defence Improvement Scheme at the very downstream end, and we're protecting Totnes, over 400 properties from the River Dart, as you can see here.
Tell me about your role.
So my role, I was a project manager and design engineer on the scheme, and so I worked quite closely with Dan McDonald and Bam Nuttall to get together a solution that was buildable and that was in keeping with existing surroundings. And I think that's the best achievement of this project, is that we've managed to tie it in so well that people are wondering which bits are flood defence and which bits are just there anyway. Particularly with the bit we were just talking about across the way, you have to look for it to know which is the new. And the fact that it actually fooled one of our judges there into thinking it was masonry is quite pleasing, because we went to a lot of effort to get the right Reckley finish to match in with existing masonry there.
So we're in Slapton at the minute on the beachfront. I'm from Alan Griffiths, and we worked with Devon County Council to put the road back after Storm Emma had completely destroyed it. So from Torcross over there to Street, the road was completely destroyed. There's absolutely no way of the residents getting from A to B.
What the community, some part of the community would like us to do is to say, let's just take the whole way road and plonk it inland. That is not a viable option.
Right, so that's my question, the subtext of my
part
question.
Of the really important thing here is to work with the community and make them realise that we have got an impossible dilemma here, and make them realise what can be achieved and importantly what cannot. What we've been trying to do here at Slapton Line for the last 15 to 20 years is find a way of responding to the threat of the loss of this road as sea level rises, storminess increases, but dealing with that challenge within a unique environment.
Being part of something that can change lives really and actually enhance people's way of life. And I think as you then drive by all these projects and schemes that you've been part of, you can say to your next generation, oh look what mummy or daddy did and we built this together, and they can actually physically see something that you've done, and it's really rewarding.
And I think you get so wrapped up in your own world and what you're working on, and you forget about all these other things that are going on, and so much of the stuff you never see.
Here we are at Trelisic. It's one of the most magnificent Cornish properties anywhere, with this fantastic setting. And basically the whole thing hinges, the whole property, hundreds of acres, hinges at one place, which is our bridge. And that's why we wanted to create a proper job and put something really special back.
The project was very exciting because we had to complete the design to make sure that it didn't fall down, it did its job, it could resist a load from a truck hitting it. And so we had all those things to think about. It had to sit on the ground and without sinking. The main attraction of this project is the aesthetics, in that we wouldn't normally do something this elegant, and to be associated with that sort of project has been really quite challenging and very exciting.
I believe this job deserves an award because from the start we were fighting a battle in the elements. We put the stop logs into this side to protect the village from flooding. Then the gate was lowered down into the recess where all the airbags were fitted, pumped up, and then we come in very early hours of the morning, cracked the stop log, let the water back in, the gate floated, which we floated round into a position where we could actually get a crane to it, and then it was lifted out into the encapsulation, and that's where we've done the refurb.
This is a really special project because it's protecting the town of Padstow, people and properties from flooding.
I mean, this lock gate weighs about nearly 20 tons, and there's just not enough space here for a crane to come and lift it in one piece. So it's amazing how innovative these things, some of the experiences that we've seen here.
We have such a diverse range of projects, each one there on its own merit, but it's linking them together to see how we can judge them. It's going to be interesting.
We've said on all of them, we say, oh, no one ever sees this stuff, it's brilliant, and you have all this great engineering, but all the people have been so passionate about it. But how do we differentiate them? How do we score them? I have no idea. We'll do it over a beer later.